Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So what I wanted to show you guys today is my full face, all day, full glam face makeup. What I use, my contouring, my foundation, my primer. This right now, I mean things always change, but this is my current go-to foundation, contour, highlight routine if I'm going all day and I want it to stay put. So what I'm going to start with first, as you can see, I obviously did my eye makeup. I have no concealer on under my eyes. You can see my dark circles. I did my eyeshadow and put lashes on. But other than that, I have nothing else on my face here. So that's why I look a little crazy. So once we start putting foundation on, we're going to look a lot more normal. So what I'm going to do for my primer is I'm going to take my Becca Evermatte Poreless Primer here. I don't know if it's gonna focus, there we go. I had this foundation and I thought it made my pores look so good, but it wasn't full coverage and I want full coverage. So I figured let me try buying the primer and see how that works, and I've really been loving it. So I'm gonna take some of this primer where I have my pores. See me looking in my mirror here. In this section here, I rub it on and it sets really quickly. You like can't keep rubbing. It's almost like you'll tug on your skin. So I think it really helps with the foundation to stick. I take about that much, put it in here where my pores are, and then I'm gonna put it right in there because that's where my area is. And then the only part of my face that gets oily is my chin. So I'm gonna put it on my chin as well to help keep oils from coming through. That's pretty much all the places that I put my primer. If you have dry skin, you won't like this. I make sure I moisturize because it's a matte one. I definitely feel like it can feel a little dry and make your skin look dry if you haven't moisturized. Other than that, I've been loving it. So that's my first step, is my primer. Next, I'm gonna go in with my foundation. I've been using this here, the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I've been using Sand 1W2. I like to use foundations with a warm undertone. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And I like to apply my foundations with a sponge. This right here is the Sonia Kashuk sponge. I don't have any of her brushes, but I've heard pretty good things. So I've really been enjoying this sponge. It's nice and bouncy, works well. So I'm gonna give that a little shake. And I'm gonna take my foundation. I'm gonna pour a little bit on the back of my hand here. Okay, and now I'm gonna dip it in there. See, I have it on there. Now I'm just gonna start bouncing that into my skin here. I bring it down my neck because I want to make sure it is matching. So I'm just going to continue to bounce this in. Make sure I get my nose. I really like this foundation, but you definitely need a primer if you're looking for something to conceal your pores. This lasts all day long and it has a nice full coverage, but if you're looking for something to help disguise your pores, you definitely need to use a primer with this. If you have dry skin, you might not like this as well because it's one of those all day stay in place foundations. So if you have dry skin, it might feel a little dry on you, but I have normal skin and the only place that's oily, like I mentioned, is my chin. You can still see my birthmarks. Like I have a birthmark here and a birthmark there, but it did cover up all that redness I had. I do not put foundation under my eyes because I have wrinkles, or not wrinkles, but lines under my eyes, and I want the least amount of product possible on those areas. So I avoid putting foundation there, and I only put concealer on under my eyes. I feel like I don't need double the product, and if you're using a good concealer, you don't need to put foundation and concealer under your eyes. So my next thing that I'm going to use is some concealer. I'm going to use the Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage. Totally agree with that. Again, make sure you moisturize. This has a very, very thick consistency, and a little bit goes a long way. I'm going to use that little tiny amount right there. I'm going to put it a little bit under my eye like so, and then I'm going to move it around with the sponge. I just want to put some on there. Very full coverage. I'm gonna start bouncing that in. Make sure I don't mess up that makeup that I did. I'm gonna bounce it up. And again, I don't want tons of product right under the eye because I don't want it getting stuck in my wrinkles. But it blended out nicely. Sets pretty quickly, this concealer, by the way. Okay. I like to set my under eyes right away, but I'm going to do some cream contouring, so I'm not going to set the rest of my face. I'm going to use this Maybelline Fit Me in Fair for under my eyes. It's their loose powder. I swear by these setting powders. Cheap, and they work so good. So I'm going to take just an e.l.f. highlighting brush. I'm going to dip a little bit of that powder, and I'm going to place it right under there and set that under eye area. I use the fair one just to make sure it stays light under there. Okay. So we've got that under eye set. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of cream contouring. I'm going to take my Hoola Quickie Contour Stick. And I'm going to take it and put right there, and all under here. I like to contour under my chin. We're going to contour the nose. I'm not going to do my forehead because I have a small forehead and I don't like it to look super tan up there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back in with this sponge here. For the cheeks, I'm going to blend out the, well, let's just do their neck first. You can use a sponge or a brush. I kind of like to use the sponge. That's just what I've been working with. So I'm going to blend this up a little bit, but we're keeping it lower because that's where we want the natural shadow to be. You can see it blended out nicely under my chin. Then you want to bring it down a little bit because you want everything to blend seamlessly. All right, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to just bounce it right here. Blend this out. I don't like to use a brush because I feel like it can move my foundation around. So I like to take the sponge and just bounce it to blend it out. So that way I'm not disturbing my foundation underneath. I'm gonna blend this. As you can see, it's blending out nicely. Seems to be working well with the foundation. You don't want one that's gonna lift up your foundation. I'm just gonna tap a little bit along here in case there's any extra, and I will use that just to warm it up a little bit. I will take powder up there, but I don't really take my creams up there. All right, so now I'm gonna take the tip of this. I'm going to start to blend out that nose contour. Now I'm going to go in with another Maybelline powder. This is the Maybelline Fit Me, the translucent powder. I totally love this powder. I definitely think it helps create a poreless look, and this is super cheap. I was using Laura Mercier, but to be honest, I think this works better. So I'm just going to set my entire face before I go in with powder contour. I just want to make sure any liquid or cream on my face is set. So that way the powders I'm going to put over top blend nicely. Sometimes if you take powders directly over creams, it can skip and they don't blend as well. So I just want to set my entire face, really focusing that powder in here where my pores are and on the chin where I get oily. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with my Anastasia contour kit. I've used this a lot. So anyway, I'm going to go in now with just a e.l.f. blush brush. I like this because it's kind of tapered. And I'm going to mix these two colors here, the two on the ends. And I'm going to start going where I put that cream contour. And help deepen it up. Doing creams under powders is going to help your makeup last longer. Hear those lovely children. So I'm going to take the powder and I'm going to put a little bit of that on my forehead because I want to even out this, you know, bronzing slash contouring. I don't want it just on my nose and cheeks and nothing up here because then everything won't match. So you kind of want to take your contouring or bronzing, whatever you do, around the perimeter of your face. Now, usually contours are cool toned colors to create shadows. Bronzings are usually more warm. That's why I kind of mix these two. This one's a little bit more warm, this one's a little bit more cool. I don't like to bronze then contour. I kind of just do it all in one. But if you don't like that, you can stick with strictly cool tones and then kind of bronze up the whole face after, but I kind of do it all at once. I really like the Estee Lauder foundation. I feel like these products all blend really nicely over top. So now I'm just redoing my chin area because, like I said, I want to disguise my double chin for sure. I also like matte. I feel like mattes work much better on me. I'm going to take this brush and pinching it. I'm just going to run it over a little bit where that contour was. The cream contour. Make sure that's all blended in. Typically I probably would have just done my face first and then my eye makeup, but for the sake of this video I ended up doing it. Okay, so make sure that's all blended out. If you want to make your lip bigger, a trick is sometimes to put contour under your lower lip. It helps create a shadow under it, which makes your lip look a little bit more full. Okay, now that I did that, I'm going to go in with some blush. I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. Quad, and I'm going to take this color right up here. They don't have names. I'm going to take this fluffy e.l.f. blush brush. I'm going to dip into that. When I put my blush on, I put it on the apples, and then I kind of bring it back into where that bronzer is, like so. I start at the apples, and then I make sure I bring it back to blend everything in together. I like this color, it's very nice, and it will literally kind of go with any look. These three are very, very pink. That one's more mauve-y, but this one, I wish there was more peachy type colors in this quad. The other three are too similar for me. All right, so now that we got that on, let's go in with some highlighter. Like I mentioned before, creams on top of powders are gonna last longer, and it also makes them more vibrant. So I'm gonna go in with my Becca highlighters in Opal. I'm gonna take this one here, which is their poured one. Yeah, Shimmering Skin Protector in the poured one, and that is Opal. I also have it in the, what do they consider this, liquid? Yeah, their liquid one as well. But I like this one, so I'm gonna take my sponge again, and I'm gonna rub it in there a little bit. And I'm gonna go on the tops of my cheekbones, and you can see we're already getting a really pretty luminosity right there. See that? And I'm gonna go onto this side. I'm gonna put it over here now. I just think damp sponge really help powders and liquids melt into the skin nicely. Okay. Now that we have that down, we are going to go in with the powder. I've been using this a lot, same color, but now we're going in with the powder. So I'm just gonna take this Sephora mineral brush, I'm gonna dip into that, and I'm just gonna pat it over that liquid or cream. Do you see how shiny that is? This is definitely gonna make your highlight really intense. I'm gonna put it on the tip of my nose. I didn't put the liquid on there because I like a little bit of highlight there, but not as vibrant as I like it on my cheeks. And then I'm gonna put it on the Cupid's bow. Okay, just make sure we've got it in there. I love highlight. Like, I don't care if it's super shiny, I love it. All right guys, so we're almost done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on my Laura Mercier because I want a loose powder. So I like to clean up my contour a little bit. I'm almost out of this actually. So I'm gonna dump some into the lid. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my sponge again. I'm gonna dip it into the powder like so. And then I kind of draw a line to sharpen out that contour. If you brought your contour down too low, this can help fix that without having to redo your makeup. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute, and I'm gonna finish the lower lash line because I didn't do that since I wanted to put concealer on. So what I'm gonna do is, I already put black eyeliner on, and I was using my chocolate gold palette, so I'm gonna go in with the black color, Decadent. And I'm gonna put some of that on the outer corner of my lower lash line. So I'm gonna dip into that. I'm gonna put it in there like so. I'm not gonna bring it all the way in. Okay. So we want to add a little bit of color down there. And then what's left on the brush, I'm kind of just bringing in. I'm going to keep that nice and simple, like so. That's all I'm going to do on the lower lash line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that Becca highlighter. I'm going to use that to do my inner corner. I like this because it's going to tie in with the cheek. A lot of times I will use whatever I use as my highlight on my inner corner and brow bone. I've been into natural brows lately as well, so I haven't really been using product in them minus a tinted gel. This one is actually by Maybelline, their Brow Precise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush that through my brows just to add any color to where they might be sparse. But I already have pretty full brows. They're a little bit more sparse in the front, so I'm going to add more of it to that particular area. I'm going to go on to the other side, do the same exact thing. Oh, of course I got some down there. I'm going to shape them first. Our brows naturally are darker at the ends, so that's why I like to go halfway in first, and then what's left I kind of bring up to the front here. I want them to match. So I pretty much just fill in my brows with this technique. So make sure they're matching. I got some up there. Okay. So now guys, I'm going to take the highlighter and I'm going to put it under my brow bone as a brow bone highlight. Take a little bit just right in that area. I feel like I lost a little bit of brightness. Okay guys, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my big fluffy brush, I'm going to brush away that powder. Okay. I'm going to finish up. I didn't put lipstick on, I'm going to do that later since that's not what this video is about. Now I always set with a spray. This is actually Wet n Wild, their matte finish setting spray. Cheap. It really helps a lot of your powders kind of melt into the face. So guys, this is pretty much the final look. Let me know what you think. I'm loving the Estee Lauder foundation right now, but like I said, it needs a little help in the pore area. That's why I use a primer. Love that primer. I think it does a great job. I will zoom you guys in. Don't mind my under eye bags, because there's nothing I can do about that, but you can see it's nice full coverage. It's all over my lips, so don't mind that. But look at the highlights, so pretty. You can see it on this side. But anyway guys, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments down below if there's any type of look you want to see. Thanks guys!